Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Born to be Wild listener series. We are in season 7, week 7. This is the top 4. So we are down to the final 4 participants here. I'm joined tonight by Schmoopy Daddy. Welcome back. Very good to see you again.
I can't participate in a semifinal, so casting it is like twice as good, right?
Hey, I'm excited to have you here. Sorry to make top 4, but very happy to have this next level caster with me. Very excited. We are hosting a match tonight between Kenray and DoctorBOMD, both good friends of the show and friends of ours, phenomenal players. So we're in for quite a show tonight. For those of you who are not familiar, the Born to Wild Listener Series is a weekly Wild tournament series with special deck building restrictions each week. Some of the restrictions are based around lore elements that we'll get into in just a moment. Some are based on challenges that we've come up with. We typically try to tie them all together. Real quick, the way that this series works, it is run in the Conquest format. So each week, players submit 4 decks consisting of separate classes. Classes and deck lists are hidden until after the weekly submission deadline. Once classes and deck lists are revealed, players have an opportunity to review and ban one of their opponent's decks. Band selections are hidden until both players have submitted their bans, at which point they are revealed. In the Conquest format, when a player wins with a deck, that player must then move on to a different deck. The losing player may switch decks, but they're not required to do so. The winner or the victor of the entire match is the first person to win with all 3 decks. So essentially it's bring 4, ban 1, but you've got to win with all 3. And like we were saying before, there is a lore element to this. So this season we've been going over the lore, the story behind the Lich King and the story behind that. So we are now in week 7, which is called Revenge of Fallen Champions. And let me pull up our lore segment by our very own lore master, Goliath the Dwarf.
After a long campaign fighting the endless hordes of undead, the Horde and Alliance launched an assault on the Lich King's stronghold of Icecrown Citadel. While the champions fell and played right into the Lich King's plan, the Paladin Tirion Fordring managed to shatter Frostmourne with the Ashbringer just as the fallen champions were about to be raised into undeath. The Broken Blade released its imprisoned souls to take revenge on their tormenter. With the Lich King dead, Bolvar Fordragon sacrificed himself to become the new Lich King and keep the Scourge contained to Icecrown.
All right. So this week's challenges are as follows. The primary challenge, choose one. All minions are either even mana and all spells are odd mana, or all minions are odd mana and all spells are even mana. So they can choose one way or the other, but spells and minions have to be different costs. If they wanted to include hero cards and weapons, they can, but it's got to offset. Like you'd have to bring 2 so that there would be an even number of spells and minions. The secondary challenge here is that each deck must contain at least 10 cards that grant attack, meaning a minimum of +1/+0 to a minion or a hero. And then other rules, each player must bring a paladin deck, going with our lore theme here, and that deck cannot be banned. Now, we also have had a season-long requirement called the Scourge Grows, but going with our lore element, the Scourge has been defeated at this point, and there's no longer a requirement to bring undead minions. But up to this point, I think we were at, 9 or 10 undead minions in each deck as of last week. And so it's very exciting to get us to this point. Now, before we start the matches, we're going to take a quick look at the decks that each player brought. So let me get into those real quick. First up, we have DoctorBOMD, who brought Death Knight, Paladin, Pirate Warrior rather, and Shaman, and Kenray banned the Death Knight. Shroopy Daddy, you want to go through these real quick?
Sure. So like you said, the fetters are off, undead are out. Players are basically allowed to use whatever tribe they want when they are building their decks. And the theme of DoctorBOMD's decks, if you look at them very closely, is go wide and buff. The payoff for the Odd Paladin is obviously the buffed Warhorse Trainer and the quartermaster, but stuff that is snuck in that is very, listener series friendly is stuff like Traveling Merchant and Carnival Barker and Alliance Bannerman to have some synergy with this Sinful Sous Chef, so that it's just a very Silverhand recruit laden list. The Pirate Warrior, from the testing that I've done with both NHL and DoctorBOMD, these lists tend to live and die on whether or not you find a weapon. But once you find a weapon, they can go wide, and they can punish with cards like Puffer Fist, Hook Fist 3000, Defias Cannoneer. Obviously, the Sky Barge is in Doc's list, and Little Rakara as well as Hero Rakara is in his list. Little Rakara to help buff the boards, Big Rakara gain a weapon, smack him, the face him. And even Shaman needs no introduction. What's interesting about Doc's list is the fact that because of the challenge, he's added the Totem Carver, the Draenei Totem Carver, which is like a kite special. You usually don't see that on ladder unless you're playing against specific players. But also it has an ETC, and inside of the ETC is Astalor, Lotheb, and Brucon. Now, he's only going to be able to choose between one of these three cards in a given situation. So if he's ahead on board, he's probably going to pick Lotheb. If he's going late game, though, I don't know what he's going to pick between the Brucon and the Astalor. It's going to have to depend on what Kenray's decks are. New cards that we see in the Even Shaman list before I turn it over to Kenray's decks is a Stereo Totem. Stereo Totem makes a funny little cameo because it is in fact a totem and it meets the challenge, so it's perfect for the listener series.
Nice. I'm excited to see it.
And when we look at Kenray...
All right. Yeah, Kenray has Druid, Paladin, Death Knight, and Rogue, and DoctorBOMD also banned the Death Knight.
Kenray brought 2 aggro decks and then 2 mid-rangey control decks as an interesting queue strategy, which I think is really smart. The one that I think I'm most excited for that is last on both of our lists is Odd Rogue. He brought an Odd Pirate Rogue. 2 Swordfish are involved. There is a Fungalmancer that has been spotted. Hench Clan Thug is checking in. But what's really interesting about this list is it's actually including Hawkstrider Rancher, which I think is a really cute card in the list, especially considering how many 1-drops you're running and that you're dropping in to get those buffs and just sort of just get chip damage in before you get that finishing damage from stuff like Fungalmancer, from stuff like Swordfish, to bring it home. So as wide as Doc is going to be wanting to get, Odd Rogue with a tour guide on 1 is going to be the kind of deck that's going to keep pace with that. Meanwhile, Kenray's Quest Druid is a nice mix of ramp and Quest Druid. So he has the Quest Druid cards, he's going to complete the quest, but he also has the option to, against wider board states, do a Floops Gloop and token swing turn. So he's going to be using Flipper Friends or Scale of Onyxia combined with Floops Gloop, or even just on their own, just to clear little spammy little boards to try and get board back before he either completes his quest line or does the classic Astalor, Bran, Anubricon, a spam Astalors forever. Everybody's a gangster until they take 56 damage combo, right?
That's right.
I played Kenray's Paladin in testing against Doc, and this feels like an incredibly strong deck. It's a mid-range Libram. I don't want to call it a control paladin. It did feel sort of mid-rangey to me, as opposed to control, where it's looking to punch back as opposed to just sort of sit back and absorb pressure. Disco Maul is a heck of a card. It has a little bit of anti-synergy with Lightforge Cariel, but this list is sort of built to apply enough pressure to stay even in the beginning of the game, and then just close it out with stuff like Anachrondros, and Countess. This is a pure Paladin list. So this is going to be a lot of fun to watch in game, and has clears for Doc's wide boards like what is it? Equality into City Tax, or Equality into Lightforge Carial, or just Lightforge Carial into a little board, and Order in the Court to Tutor Carial. So there's going to be, I expected this to be very tightly contested and very queue dependent, because depending on who decides what deck they're going to lead with, this is going to be very, very, very tight.
Absolutely. And these two players are really good, both of them. In fact, DoctorBOMD is one of our previous season winners, and Kenray's made it to the top 4 multiple times. And so no surprise that either of them are there regardless.
Former finalist.
Yeah.
Former finalist, as well as top 4. Right. Yeah.
So regardless of who wins tonight, we're in for quite a match. I'm very excited either way.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good contest, and both these deck lists in particular are set up to be very cat and mouse. I could see it going either way depending on who gets what opener, but at the same time, I could see some swing turns happen that are going to be very exciting.
All right, I'm just letting them know they're wrapping up their practice matches, but I'm letting them know they can queue whenever they're ready. We may see them finish out their practice match real quick.
Kenray on his odd pirate rogue versus odd paladin, and Doc has the kind of hand where he might just full keep. Okay, drops the prize, the Carnival Barker. Keeps a Warhorse Trainer and a Tour Guide. And I forget what that 2-1 is called. That gets buffed. Oh, and Kenray gets a Tour Guide right off the bat, which I know is always good.
These hands for both of them are really strong starters, and
yeah, they're both really strong.
Clearly they know how to mulligan well, right?
Yeah, I mean they've taken the aim labs. Hopefully Kenray is connected and plays out the Jolly Roger. Ew. Come on, man.
If there's a disconnect, yeah, if...
Oh, he got it there. He got there. Oof. Oof. All right, we're good.
I know we're having a little bit of connectivity issues, so...
Brazen Zealot, that's the one I was going to say. Okay. Doc electing to use his coin very early to make a massive Brazen Zealot, which is really interesting to me. Is he trying to make like a giant? He's banking on no tour guide. I think he's going to be punished here a little bit.
I guess, but wouldn't the patches go straight into it? Like,
he was trying to make, I think, a big shiny target so that he could stick more. So that he could stick more Silverhand recruits for the Warhorse turn. I think that's what he was trying to do.
It's so funny because both of these players tend to play super fast, which like it pushes us into like rush mode when we're trying to commentate a little bit. But you know, it's interesting. They're both pretty aggressive match decks here, and with the odd paladin, like there's just so much refill, and so he can probably button every turn. And
Kenray's trying to push as much face as he can, and probably digging for that South Sea captain that's in his list to get some value. I'm surprised he didn't trade the tour guy off there, honestly, into the Silverhand recruit for this kind of payoff exactly. Just to protect the Jolly Roger. That might have been a little bit of an error.
Oh,
we'll see. He gets one right back. So who cares?
And
back.
Unfortunately, dealing with a little bit of connectivity issues. There is a Buccaneer into Swordfish if Kenray can reconnect.
Yeah, if that's what he wants to do. I think that's going to be the play, and it's probably going to trade into the Warhorse Trainer. I'd be shocked if it doesn't. Which means he's going to draw another pirate, which means that he's going to get yet another card closer to his South Sea captain as a payoff. He might go Jolly Roger. Like he has enough pirates, he could take the risk. He's not going to though. He's going to go for this.
The Warhorse Trainer is a huge.
Oh, he snap picked the puffer fist.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, it is the Puffer Fist. I was double checking that, but it makes sense because it'll kill off these pesky 1/1s.
This might be over. Like that's the thing. This Odd Rogue, once it takes board, it's very hard to wrestle it back.
Oh, and that Puffer Fist is just probably game over. I mean, it's
Henry might have been served to almost trade off one of like the tour guide or something like that just for board space reasons. Oh no, he does have. Okay, I thought he overdrew for a second.
Well, and he's sitting on also the South Sea deckhand to push 2 more. Well, not needed. That was super fast. Wow.
This might be a brutal series.
Well, Kenray taking the lead in game 1 with a Paladin win here, so they can queue back up whenever they're ready. But yeah, that Odd Rogue was fast and brutal, which leaves Kenray with the Paladin and the Quest Druid left.
Yeah, so he's going to play a little bit more on his heels in theory. Like, he's not going to be pushing the issue as much. His aggressive deck is out of the way. He's got that win on the board. So Doc can kind of figure out, okay, what deck do I like the best to try and crack a nut? And he's going to keep with the Odd Paladin. Oh, that city tax in the mulligan is brutal.
I will fight with honor.
You have to insta-keep that, I imagine, and you probably keep the Knight of Anointment to try and get equality if you can high roll it.
Yep.
None will survive. A red sun rises.
Sanguine Soldier, a pretty good opener for Doc. You know, it does have the Divine Shield to protect it. I would be shocked if it goes anywhere but face. Like, he's just going to be pushing damage, pushing damage, pushing damage.
Yeah. Interesting. He's got Lothraxion in hand, which I imagine will probably see tempoed out on 5 just to get that Divine Shield for the rest of the game. But I guess we'll see.
Probably. Is this a hand turn? No, he's just... Okay. Kenray's going to elect for the early city tax. That seems too early for that much value. But maybe he goes for it. You know what? He goes for it to Doc does have Merchant in his hand, but also in his deck. Kenray knows that, and maybe Kenray's playing around the big Merchant because he can't answer the big Merchant right now.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Doc made Bannermen to buff here.
Interesting decision whether or not you do like Bannermen or whether or not you do like Jewel Kit and Hero Power there.
Yeah, I agree.
Kenray getting a discount all online, probably. Okay, so he's going to go Bannerman as well. Just get deeper into your deck. Okay.
Interesting here, though, that Kenray's deck is like designed as a hand buff, and I think Doc's is more of a like Odd Paladin with a little bit of buff on the side, and so
yeah. This coin is going to be so key for Kenray, like how he wants to use it. He could use it this turn, or I think he's going to go for more of a Disco Maul and then find a play kind of turn. Because like he's probably going to want to coin out the dragon, or he's going to want to float 1 mana and play the Shimmering Starfish, like something like that. Bannerman, get deeper into your deck. He's probably not threatened by this particular board and thinks this is fine.
Turn 5 is always the scary turn, right? Because you could play Quartermaster, but you want to button first, and so...
Back to your homes.
But here we go.
Yeah, Doc going with a... developing a 5/5 and hero powering and getting some Divine Shields down. Kenray still had a good health total, so this is fine.
And it makes sense not trading into the 3/3 because it wouldn't be an even trade. You'd have to trade 2 cards into it, and it's just not worth.
Disco Maul, Shimmering Sunfish. That seems like a Order in the Court. So he's going to get Cariel.
Oh.
And he's going to drop Shimmering Sunfish, which is going to be a house to get through. Doc's going to have to overtrade to try and chip through all that health. unless he does something like Merchant and Broom, which would be interesting. Let's see if he picks that. Maybe trade off one Silverhand recruit. Oh, he's just going to develop the Lothrax. That's also fine, right? Like, so every Silverhand recruit he makes from here on out has Divine Shield.
Yeah.
And that starts changing some breakpoints and some clears for Kenray. Ooh, and he gets to run it in. It's a good call.
Wow. Yeah, I thought we might see the Merchant come down, but it makes sense to play the Lothraxian because then you get the value for the rest of the game.
Reading how Kenray is fingering through the cards, he's like, when am I going to get my Cariel down? When am I going to play my Akranos? When am I going to play my Leviathan? We
He might coin it out, yeah. Just to get that big scary board gone.
And it pushes 10, right? Like Kenray's the beatdown right now. Like, from this moment on, he's the beatdown. Doc has to kind of, like, weather the storm and keep pace with him, or else it's not looking good for him. This is a good response. He doesn't know that Kenray has the Leviathan ready and raring to go.
That is quite a board, though.
That's a hefty boy. Okay, Leviathan comes down. We always draw first, right, Kenray? No, we're gonna dredge first. Oh! Cringe. Okay. I'd be shocked and appalled if Cariel doesn't come down next turn.
I agree. Well, especially at 13 health, it's, I think, vital.
And this is actually kind of like working against Doc's favor right now. His minions are going to come back soon, right? And so there's not enough board space for them right now. But he can't afford to leave the board space because he has to play for tempo.
Yeah.
So, like, Kenray's at 12, but again, that 12 is going to functionally feel like 24 in a minute because this Cariel's coming down.
That Cariel's brutal.
Yeah. This. I think that was the turn that's stabilized.
I think that might have just sealed the game. I mean, I guess we'll see, but doing half damage now for the rest of the game is really kind of puts a damper.
Okay, so listen, this could do it. The Warhorse Trainer. Go as wide as you can, drop the Warhorse Trainer. Maybe Kenray can't deal with the wide board, and you go from there. This is it. Like, this is Doc's Hill.
That is, not gonna lie, that's a huge board. And Doc,
oh yeah, no, it's a good response.
Doc not even going into this the tail of the Leviathan,
no.
but
oh no, the Ring of Courage on a taunt. No. Danger, Will Robinson. He's probably going to put it on the Righteous Protector. So he's thinking about, what else do I want to pull with the Stonehearth Vindicator?
The answer is here.
What else do I want to pull? He pulls an Equality, which is real cute if he finds City Tax.
oh, but the Knight of Anointment could pull it.
City Tax is actually not holy.
Oh, is it not?
Can. Light Order Lull? He's beating up all these guys. Maybe he's saving maybe he's figuring he's going to save the Ring of Courage? Okay. I think he could have gotten a little bit bigger playing it earlier.
I think so, but that's all right. I mean, it still is.
7/7 with Divine Shield. I don't think it's going to matter. This is real tough for Doc. But not over, because again, every Silverhand recruit that he's going to be producing has Divine Shield. So, like, Divine Shield taunts, it's like Noyotrons. This Carnival Barker is going to be putting in work. These are River Crocs with Divine Shield. Oh, River Crocs with +2 attack.
Wow.
Double equality, but like My Kingdom for a horse. It's not quite good for Kenray to knock out, right?
No, that's a scary board, actually. This is this is an intense game. Not gonna lie, we're pretty deep into it, and it really could kind of go either way. I mean, if Kenray can clear the board, it Doc might be sunk, but we see him drawing the equalities, but not the second city tax.
If it gets close to even, I think Kenray has it because he has the value. Hand of a Doll's big. If you just draw another card, get deeper into your stack. The Disco Mall's a dead card. He's not going to play it over the immovable object. The Purator. Woo. Okay.
Well, Kenray's only got 6 cards left in his deck.
Yeah, but the Taunt. The Taunt is so big right now.
Who are we hitting today?
That Carnival Barker is really putting in work.
Yeah, the Carnival Barker.
Well, and the Warhorse Trainer,
The Carnival
jeez.
Barker is kind of brutal. At some point, Kenray's going to have to roll the dice on this Countess and hope that she gets there, I think. And whether or not he makes that call sooner rather than later is going to make a big difference.
Yeah.
Quality in hand.
I've seen very little even or odd paladin since the reverts, and so it's just crazy how good Warhorse Trainer is now.
It's an absurdly broken card that's just not quite good enough. Which is a funny thing to say.
Wow.
Alright, Kenray loses it out. That looked so one-sided at one point.
Yeah, it really did, but I think, DoctorBOMD was just able to keep bringing the threats over and over and over, and those Silverhand recruits were getting huge. And it's just automatic refill when you can button every single turn. And between the Carnival Barker and the Warhorse Trainer, they were just too much to deal with.
The Warhorse Trainer especially. All right, this is an interesting matchup. It's going to be very, very draw heavy. Doc really needs weapons. And Kenray, I think, wants to go more token-based here than the actual quest line. It looks like he's going to go for the quest line, and Doc has the Ankar. I'm going to say, based off these opening hands, Doc has the advantage, but we shall see.
This will be really an interesting matchup, but
Questline Druid doesn't like really wide boards, right? It's a little uncomfortable for it. Witching Hour, brutal. Okay. Gross. But Doc gets the coin and Ankar here. Or coin a Sky Barge. He gets to start his engine going. And a lot of his minions buff his weapon and give it more durability. He's not even going to swing for that reason.
Well, yeah, I mean he's got 2 Sky Barges and this Defias Cannoneer in hand, so it's may as well wait.
He's plotting out when am I going to drop this green skin?
And still not attacking.
Yeah, he's not threatened.
Yeah.
I wouldn't either. But that's one of the things that makes Doc a really good player is how patient he is and how calculated he is. And he really does pick his spots and his moments, and he kind of takes you by surprise because he almost, in some scenarios, you think he'd be more aggressive than he really is. But he has a game plan in mind here on what he wants.
I think it... Yeah, I was going to say, we might see this South Sea deckhand come down. I wonder if it will... Okay.
Face plays taunt, we face the taunt. I know that Dark Panther didn't have taunt, but
Nah, it's too... Ooh, but it'll come back with Witching Hour.
It certainly will. And just one of these claws means that Kenray gets to draw a card. B. Get a little bit closer to what do we get? Ooh, Guff. Guff's a pretty good card. He's almost done with the quest line. He literally just needs a claw next turn, and he can throw down Guff.
Wow, that was so much damage.
Yeah, yeah. And he's racing Doc right now. Doc needs to find taunt or armor quick. Luckily, he just drew the hook test. Right?
Yep. Hook fist 3000.
Fist 3000.
I was gonna say, I imagine he'll go face. I don't think we want to tank any more damage.
Man, it's kind of brutal that he just drew a card that would have buffed that Ankar's durability. I'd be shocked if we don't see Claw and then Questline Reward right here. Maybe Guff? Maybe Wildheart Guff? And Quest and
yeah,
and Claw?
I think I would, just because he's got the floop.
This is okay too. Going wide with it, just let's keep our plate clean, right? Keep our plate clean, set it up.
And like you were saying earlier, I think Questline Druid struggles a little bit with super wide boards. And so that's an opportunity to clean house a little bit.
We have a N'Zoth's first mate. A weapon is back on board. There is a Rat King.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. I think we may... Okay. Guff it is.
It's funny. Kenray's in a kind of a tough spot, because if he doesn't guff now, when is he going to guff?
Yeah.
So he might as well guff now. He's going to ramp. Ooh, okay.
He's in a good spot just because of how much armor he has, but like you said,
I'm trying to figure out his line that he's going to take here. He might do something like Claw, a Nubricon, Questline Reward, and then Flute, and Smack for 16 next turn.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's possible.
Or sorry, Snap for 8, it'd be 18. But those South Sea Captains are just so scary. When I see those come down, I want to murder them immediately if I'm Kenray. We probably see the reward here. It's going to corrupt the Moonlit. He wants the float. He wants the 2 mana so that he can ramp, I assume. And he's just... Oh, he's going to draw. Okay. Oh, he can't play it, though.
He's not going to play it, yeah, so that he can get the extra guff.
Feels bad. But it looks like Doc doesn't have any taunts.
Well,
because taunt is cheat. Who would cheat with taunt?
Huh. Yeah, the floop into the claw into the Moon Touch Amulet is 14, so that would do it.
Questline Druid's such a strong deck right now, and like you're seeing it right. You're seeing it here. This is like a very off-meta, kind of like goofy build, and it tanks so much damage.
All right. Well, Kenray is taking game number 3.
Oh. I like the record to show that I did not do any counting there, because I play wild.
Count? I can not even tie my shoes.
And that was tough. That was tough. All right, so Druid's out of the way. So Doc is trying to get his Pirate Warrior and his Even Shaman through the Paladin. Kenray has a, hey, let me find Cariel automatically in the Order in the Court. Opts not to go for that. Looks for the Disco Mall. Finds it. Oof.
The light dims, but we fight.
Doc
Yeah,
has
this is
N'Zoth's first mate. Are we going to hold on to that coin this game, Doc? I think we will. Maybe coin out a Sky Barge and then go from there. It's going fast. It's going fast. Kenray is going to have an interesting decision about whether or not he pops this Disco Maul early or with a trade and just like, hey, let me make just like a 3/3 Knight of Anointment or something. Skybarge gets down. Yep.
I think we probably see the Bannerman come down just because that's...
Just draw. Yeah, get closer.
But...
Maybe not, because it's like you draw 2 if you do Knight of Anointment and Hand of Adal, right? So
True.
it's not crazy. Also, if you do Knight of Anointment and Hand of Adal, and then swing with the Disco Maul, you've got a bigger minion. So it's actually better tempo that play, but I don't hate just Bannerman and go, right? Like that's not awful either.
At some point, I think Kenray is going to need either some taunt or a board clear or something like that, but...
This Maul is getting pretty big, Nate.
Yeah.
I think you want to play the Knight first, and then maybe the taunt. He wants to play both. He's gonna take the draw while he can get away with it. 4+. That's a pretty big banana. Okay, let's see where these shots go. Doc is not super happy to trade here. He's not looking to have this game go on too long because the carry-all obviously ends things. Maybe he trades the deckhand into the 6/4, or maybe he just pushes damage and says... Yeah.
Oh, he just lost the charge on the Celsi deckhand. Oopsies.
Oh no. Well, he's got Kenray on the ropes. Oh no. Scam. Though the stout, yeah. You gotta kill the South Sea first. Okay. So for those watching at home, the aura on the South Sea captain is prevalent even after the equality. So even though the pirates get reduced to 1 health, the South Sea buffs them up to 2 health. You gotta kill the South Sea first and then do city tax equality, that combo. Or, equality city tax if we're gonna be semantic about it. Double Hand of Adal, buff. Smack a Skybarge.
Ooh, and another equality too.
Yeah. And also the dragon. Like, he's gonna be able to answer some wide boards and some value now. Okay, so Doc's gonna face this this taunt. And this looks alright until you realize that a 10/10 dragon's about to come down.
Oh. Yeah.
Doc does have some draw.
That card is pretty scary. Doc's at 20 health, so he's got a little bit of time, and he's applying some pressure as well, but gosh.
It looks even, and it would be even if it wasn't for the fact that Kenray has so much taunt still left in his hand in the Shimmering Sunfish. Like, he can buff this Sunfish up. And Doc is going to have a really tough time cutting through this now. Look up, the 4/7's a disaster. Oh, Kenray's debating. He's going to try and just squeeze it out.
Well, if he plays it safe, right? Like, he's got to know that Doc's got no board clears. And so, I mean, I guess the only thing against him is that in another turn, these minions are coming back, but there's no taunt. There's no, there's not a lot of draw. There's really not, like, if he can keep the board clear.
both these cannon shots have to hit the 10-10. They did not. Okay.
So Kenray's got 16 on board and able to clear the two biggest threats. So I imagine we probably see the disco ball or maybe the Vindicator. I don't know, but I imagine
Vindicator, because the Vindicator can get you city tax, right? I think equality city tax, like the second equality city tax, just like wraps this up in such a way that there's nothing that Doc can do. It's getting that way anyway, just because like I'm surprised he didn't buff the Shimmering Starfish when he did.
He's got to play
Kenray's
conservative.
Forced to trade, yeah.
His health is just too low not to. Although
Puffer Fist. That Puffer Fist is so big. Holy cow.
That Puffer Fist is going to kill that dragon. Wow.
At one point, Kenray had Doc on a clock, and now it feels like he's kind of let him off the hook a little bit. He's still behind, but Doc is now like showing lethal with what he's got. Order in the court. Carriel. Ooh.
Well,
that probably slams the door shut.
That's a Carriel, all right. Kenray debating about whether to kill these two cards, but I mean you have to. Well, at only 4 health, even the Carriel is buys you so much time.
Oh, Kenray just like. Are you gonna face it, or are you gonna go? You're gonna hit the minion. All right.
Takes 2.
Okay.
I mean, Doc had to hit him for 14 essentially to get through.
Oh, I was waiting for a Hook Tusk there, the new Hook Tusk.
Oh, that would have been gnarly, or Mr. Smite or something.
Like I don't know what option would have actually given him an out, but I think that was his out. And this should be it, right? This is just Librams on the bonk. Yeah. GG's Kenray, man.
All right, Kenray takes it. 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm reaching out to the players real quick just to see if either of them are interested in chatting with us. Either way, what an incredible series that was.
Really cool decks. I'm a little sad I never got to see the Even Shaman see play to push it to a longer series. I think that might have been a little bit less high rolly than the Pirate Warrior, but even there, like, you know, two very talented players, solid deck lists. I had played, for full disclosure, I had played Kenray's lists into DoctorBOMD and lost with all of them, but I'd also won with all of them in practicing. So it was interesting to see that play out how it did.
All right, looks like neither of them are available, unfortunately. Doc's got stuff going on, and Kenray's outside. In fact, I know having some connectivity issues. In fact, I think Kenray played that entire series on mobile, if I'm not mistaken. So that's right. Anyways, that was an incredible matchup here, and two very, very highly skilled players. So I was very excited to watch that. Fast matches, but there was a lot going on there. I think that last match, like, I could have seen it going either way. Like, it just kept swinging the pendulum like one way and then the other, and just wow. So Kenray now making it, advancing to the top 2, back in the finals.
Back in the finals with little vindication, and it's funny, the last time he played in the finals, he actually banned the wrong deck. And so this is an opportunity for him to kind of get a little bit of vindication and not tunnel in and ban the correct deck this time. And take on NHL Fan, who has been a first-time participant in the challenge, like for real. But definitely a tour de force as far as players go, influencing the challenge.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. This will be really interesting. And yeah, it's top 2 now. It'll be NHL fan versus Kenray.
Yeah, good, well matched, because Kenray and Maxi will probably cook up, their little dojo will cook up something interesting, and NHL fan will have his own cabal that he will enlist in playtesting and in cooking. And between the two of them, I think we're gonna see some good stuff. But yeah, Kenray no stranger to this competition, to this level of play, to the pacing that is unique to the Born to Be Wild listener series. He's gonna have some good lists, and NHL fan is going to try and like professor his way into what the perfect matchup will be, and we'll see what actually wins out in the finals. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Me too. Very exciting. Very exciting. I love when we get to this point in the series, when we're like down to the final little bit here. It's pretty crazy because, I mean, this is it now. One more week to go. Well, very cool. Thank you very much, Poopy Daddy, for joining me tonight to cast these matches. Appreciate it. And it's always fun. And especially with this caliber of players on the line. It's very, very exciting.
And good friends, right? So,
hey, that's right.
I mean, it's cool watching them play because we both know that the level of play is phenomenal.
Oh, absolutely. And with either of them, like they're good friends of ours. They're friends of the show. They've been around the community for a long, long time. And either of them, I could see taking the win. And I'm just proud to be friends with them. Happy to be able to cast a game. So very, very cool. Before we wrap up, any final parting shots or words of wisdom?
No, I mean the final's going to be interesting. Once the challenge is revealed, it's been a top secret project of ours up until this point. Once we reveal the challenge, these guys are going to be scrambling like mad. I can tell you that the build up to the final can be a little bit nerve-wracking and can be a little bit consuming. So these guys are going to have to lean on their testing partners, their little dojos that they've built up over the season, the people that they've been refining with the whole way. Kind of pick their brains, and when in doubt, follow their own instincts and just sort of go with whatever they feel most comfortable bringing.
Absolutely. All right, friends. Well, thank you all for hanging out with us. That is going to wrap it up for us, but we will be back next week with another episode of
Born to Be Wild.